Today's top stories at NBR. New Zealand's Morrison & Co. has a hand in an Australian $2.8 billion deal across the ditch. The government puts more flesh on the bones of its three waters reform proposals. The board of ASB Showgrounds, currently in liquidation, owes millions, and there's more coming right up. Kia ora and welcome to NBR Today, a wrap of the day's top business stories from the authority in New Zealand business news since 1970, nbr.co.nz. It's Wednesday, June 30th. I'm Paul Brennan. Thank you so much for joining us. Telecommunications giant Comcast and local private equity groups are said to be behind unsolicited approaches around potential transactions with Sky TV, revealed by the broadcaster yesterday. During the company's Investor Day presentation on Tuesday, Sky TV Chief Executive Sophie Maloney said the company had received a number of offers during the year and had appointed Jarden to help review potential opportunities. Maloney said yesterday it would come as no surprise to investors and analysts that she and the board did not believe the current share price, it closed up slightly at 17.1 cents yesterday, reflected the underlying value of the company. She also noted, however, that Sky was operating in an industry that was going through significant change in consolidation, both globally and domestically. New Zealand's Morrison & Co. has had a hand in an Australian $2.8 billion deal across the ditch, managing the acquisition by a consortium of Aussie superannuation funds of just under half of ASX-listed Telstra's Telco Towers business. The consortium's three Australian members, Sovereign Wealth Fund Future Fund, government not-for-profit super provider CSC and pension fund Sun Super, joined forces to snap up 49% of Telstra Infraco Towers in a transaction announced today. Infraco Towers owns and operates about 8,200 telecommunication towers, including more than 5,500 mobile towers, supporting critical digital infrastructure throughout Australia. The transaction valued the business at $5.9 billion Australian dollars, or 28 times full-year 2021 earnings of Australian $210 million. The deal is expected to close before the end of September. The government has put more flesh on the bones of its three waters reform proposals, stating its preference for council water services to be transferred to four new regional entities. However, Auckland Mayor Phil Goff has already expressed opposition, saying it undermines council control. The plan for consultation envisages broad oversight of each of the four water authorities would be shared equally between representatives of local authorities and mana whenua, who would select and monitor professional boards to run the organisations. Under the proposed borders, the Auckland and North region would be the most populous, with a connected population of about 1.7 million. The board of ASB Showgrounds, currently in liquidation, owes at least $3 million to banks and finance companies and almost $700,000 in taxes, along with a host of other debts yet to be ascertained, according to an initial report released this morning. Chattels at the iconic showgrounds are in the process of being valued and prepared for sale to meet these debts, and a further $211,000 related to employee redundancies, along with other obligations. Paul Vlasic of Rogers Reedy was appointed as liquidator of the Auckland Agricultural, Pastoral and Industrial Shows Board after a vote by members on June 22nd, putting an end for now to almost 180 years of events and functions at the Auckland site. Shareholders have tested NZ refining directors over how quickly dividends will reappear as it puts plans to shift the country's sole oil refinery to an importer of ready-to-use fuels to a vote in the coming months. The Marsden Point oil refinery operator for more than a year has looked at how its competitiveness could be improved to maximise returns to shareholders and deliver fuel supply to New Zealand. Shareholders at the annual meeting on Tuesday heard they would receive more information about the proposal in the coming weeks ahead of a shareholder vote in August, and with a final investment decision expected a month later. One shareholder, asking about when dividends might reappear on the table, said, "You're all singing from the same songbook, but the song is starting to sound quite sour." The full details of those stories and more are at nbr.co.nz right now. Tomorrow at NBR, Brent Edwards' weekly politics column says there's not time for complacency over the COVID-19 pandemic. And we interview Damien O'Connor on trade from his isolation hotel. I'm Paul Brennan. I look forward to being with you again tomorrow around lunchtime for NBR's trending stories. And then same time, same place, again from tomorrow, 5:30 for another NBR Today.